What's up, everybody? I am Maj Toure. Welcome to the Maj Toure Show. Gen Z and the silent shift towards socialism is tonight's topic. Y'all know the routine. Come in, hit the like button. Tell me where you're from. Subscribe to the channel. YouTube.com/Maj Toure. If you're watching on X, share the space all over the place. And also, guys, make sure you should subscribe to the Rumble channel and all that other stuff. Comment, give me your perspective and all of that. We're going to talk about it. We briefly had this discussion. Not briefly. We had an more in-depth and passionate discussion yesterday about Mamdani's win in New York and what that meant for New Yorkers, what it meant for the political landscape, what it means for right-leaning pundits that are kind of just like being really stupid, not addressing promoting their own candidates. Sidebar, huge shouts to Larry Sharp running for New York governor. I want everybody to support Larry in his run. But we had that conversation, and it started to get me to thinking, talking more about socialism, because Mamdani is a self-professed democratic socialist. And from some of the content that we put out last night of him, not AI, openly saying their end goal is to seize the means of production, which is communism. So it started me to think about, like this so-called shift towards socialism. And that's what tonight's topic is going to be about. So I want everybody to strap in. If you got questions, obviously jump in the chat. We like to get it real, engaging in the chat. I want y'all to ask questions. I'll throw you up on the screen. We try to get everybody to support our work. For those of you that are not aware of who I am Maj Toure, the founder of Black Guns Matter and Solutionary University. We've traveled the country teaching real-world firearm safety and Second Amendment education for about 8 or 9 years now in the communities that the media ignores, basically. And so thousands have already taken our civics course at solutionaryuniversity.org because we don't just talk freedom, we train citizens to live it. So everybody go over to solutionaryuniversity.org or click the link in my bio to become one of those solutionaries, or you can get access to a lifetime membership to Solutionary University by donating to our Second Amendment work at gibsongo.com/solutionary. So want to jump right into it. First, let's talk. This is obviously Mamdani. Let's play what he's talking about here, and then we'll get into tonight's episode.
Senegalese taxi drivers and Uzbek nurses. I speak of Yemeni bodega owners and Mexican abuelas. Senegalese taxi drivers and Uzbek nurses. Trinidadian line cooks and Ethiopian aunties. Yes, aunties.
Now, this is him after his win yesterday. Again, he's a democratic socialist. And the conversation on social media, first, let me get some shout outs real quick. Big Rob, what's up? Guys, if y'all in the show, hit the like button, repost, share it all over the place. It don't cost y'all nothing to share the space. We don't want to pick up no advertisers, right? Other than the people that we rock with. And if I'm posting about them, I rock with their company. Got my vitamins right here. Gonna take a pack in a little bit. If you want some first form products, shoot me a DM. I'll send you the direct link, whatever. But if you guys don't want us to have a whole bunch of ads and me doing ad reads, share the space all over the place, all right? So we got Naturally Armed from Jersey. If you are in New Jersey and you need firearms instruction in person, that's who you go see if you're in the tri-state area. Wild Cell, longtime solutionary, supporting the channel from South Carolina. What's up, OZ Money? All over there in Chi-Town, Chirac. What's up? Big Rob, another supporter and longtime solutionary. So guys, make sure if you not identifying yourself, still share the space all over the place. So this is Mamdani after his win. And people were questioning after that. People, have asked me a bunch of times, well, some of my moderate, homies and friends, because unlike some people on the right of center, I didn't get rid of all of my friends that happen to be left of center. All right. I actually do outreach. And as they grow politically and intellectually, and I don't say that as a diss, but if you're still a Democrat, there's some things that you're missing. But as they grow, we make ourselves available to them as solutionaries, and we get them the proper information. So some of those folks are hitting me up like, yo, I saw him on The View. What does it mean to be a democratic socialist? And I'm always surprised because I know what socialism and communism actually do. I'm always surprised at how younger people are find socialism and which leads into communism in any way, shape, or form fucking like inviting or appealing in any way, shape, or form. But that's because we know the history of socialism and communism. And so as solutionaries, we want to make sure that we're informing the people. So I wanted to go back into, just a reminder to let everybody know why some new age people, younger people, under 35 especially, because that's a lot of the people that voted for him. Okay. Now, outside of obviously, it's New York. He did a smart job of communicating effectively to the base of New York. The base of New York City is leftist. The base of New York City is a massive immigrant town. Okay? He pandered. He spoke to, and I say pandered in the sense of not necessarily lying or patting them on the head like some liberals do with black people, right? Appreciate you, Anshay, for the $2 super chat. Appreciate you for that. Guys, everybody that's doing super chats, if you know a small business, if you know a company, if you have a small business or a company, toss your name of the company, your website, social media, if that or whoever it is, toss it in there so they can get some love because we record the lives and they stay on forever. So we want to give all of those small businesses, freedom-based businesses, American businesses, we want to give them some love. So thank you again, Anshay. So Mamdani communicated to his base. That's all. It's what we've told people when you're doing outreach to moderates and you're right of center. Your job is not to be rude to them. Your job is to explain to them what the value systems that you have. And when democratic so-called leadership fuck up, like Mamdani is about to do in the city of New York, and when they see that it's not intelligent people that are moderates, not extreme leftists, I want to make that clear distinction. Okay, if you're a solutionary, you come here, we discuss nuance on the show. There are people that are left of center politically that are moderates, that are not extreme on the left. Okay, so when we tell people, hey, there's a way to communicate with those folks that see that, hey, I thought we were going to get this and we didn't. So fuck that. And they become looking for a different political home. If you make yourself available to them and communicate to their needs and express the benefits and detriments of the thing that they're thinking they're getting and the benefits of coming on this side politically and why limited government, more freedom, less government is in their interest, that is a form of outreach. That's what the shit is. If anybody get it twisted or thinking that that is pandering, they don't know what they're talking about. Okay? So when you communicate to your base what your base's interests are, and if you can in any way, shape, or form hold down some of those interests once you get into office, you're looked at as the greatest thing ever. Now, Mamdani, as a democratic socialist, about to be in control of the financial epicenter of the universe, New York City, is not going to be able to maintain the things that he's talking about. First, there's a city council, okay? That exists. Outside of that, but we're not to lean too much on Mamdani because tonight's conversation is about how socialism and communism even seem appealing. How does someone that's a democratic socialist get in position? Because the general public does not understand what socialism leads to, what it is, and what the ultimate outcome is, even if he jumps on a Zoom call and says, our end goal is the seizing of means of production. Okay? So that's what tonight's conversation is about. But he gets in that position by not attacking his base, by not lying to his base, by not saying one thing, and he has the benefit of no political background in that sense, like a history, right? So he can come off much better. And in that instance, he ran a magnificent campaign. So when we hear him in this content, and I'm going to play this again real quick for people that's just tapping in. When we hear him saying these things, one, he made a huge mistake in his acceptance speech. And if he's smart, he'll go back and clarify that, okay? He deliberately left out black people. And a lot of black people and white liberals helped get him into office. But let's play what he's talking about after saying he toppled a political dynasty. We toppled a political dynasty, all right?
I speak of Yemeni bodega owners and Mexican abuelas. Senegalese taxi drivers and Uzbek nurses, Trinidadian line cooks and Ethiopian aunties.
Well, that's black. Ethiopian and Trinidadian.
Yes, aunties. I speak.
This guy is a openly democratic socialist with an end game of seizing the means of production, with an Indian background that knows how to communicate very effectively and looks unassuming. I want to take y'all back real quick. There's a movie called The Devil's Advocate with Al Pacino and Keanu Reeves. And there's a scene where they're on a New York subway. And Al Pacino plays the devil. And in the process of him playing the devil, he's telling Keanu Reeves' character, who's the sharp lawyer from Florida, he's telling him, you know, that whole shark thing, you smooth and you so full of yourself. He's like, but not me. They never see me coming. I'm the hand up the skirt of the Mona Lisa that gives her the smile. And he was saying to him, the unassuming person is the person that can get a lot of shit, evil shit done. That is what Mamdani's approach is like. I don't know this man individually, so I'm not saying that he's the evil person or is the devil. I never give a human that much fucking power. Ever. Like, I never do that, all right? But this approach, okay, is 1000% how you get to say, I'm a democratic socialist in America that wants to seize the means of production and you still get elected. But that's not the only reason why. Bookworm said he won't apologize. OZ Money just said something I just brought up. Mamdani talked a lot about immigrants, but nothing about black Americans. I get it. It's the same reason, it's the same mistake that conservatives have made, conservative pundits. It's cool, it's okay when those pundits are very disrespectful to black people. Because the pundits, as we discussed last night, the pundits are in it for their own individual gain, or they're agents of literally plants put there by CIA, NSA, FBI to disrupt so black people don't start going outside of the Democratic Party. Because they look at the pundit looks like they speak for all of Republicans, all of conservatives, all of libertarians, all of independents, and they go, oh, they racist over there. And they stay over here. Okay? But outside of that, that's why he doesn't have to apologize. But it will cost him. You don't have to apologize, but it'll cost you. Kamala Harris said she wasn't going to do nothing for the black people. It cost her. Kamala Harris started getting Barack Obama to speak down to black people because they wasn't getting behind Kamala the same way. It cost them black males. When you're talking about running a campaign, the end goal is to get your candidate across the finish line in the seat. Okay? Now, that might happen for the first go-round. But now we get a chance to look at your track record. And he started this particular night talking about trannies. And I get it. Again, I want to be very clear. I understand that New York is a heavy immigrant town. If he's super Saiyan stealth level of Sith Lord, he'll come back and apologize. Then you should be very afraid of him. Why you should be very afraid of him is because he's like an AI chatbot. He'll learn. But if he just used that demographic to get there and doesn't give a fuck, then he won't apologize. Because enough people on Twitter are talking about it, or X are talking about it. All right? So I'm saying all of this to say, this is how he got here. Him, his campaign, how he did the right thing to get in the position. He would not be able to get in the position by saying, I am on The View. Again, we talked about this last night. I don't want to go back over it. Go watch last night's episode. When he's on The View, daytime television, saying, I'm a democratic socialist, and then hiding that definition behind words that's not what the fuck it means. The reason how he's able to pull that off is because of what tonight's conversation is about. It's about people don't understand civics. So socialism and these things seem to look very appealing to the uninitiated and the ignorant person. The person that is not aware of what socialism leads to, which is communism, and the person that is not aware that all of these things turn into a thing, and the person that can't identify what democratic socialism is, why don't they think that? Why don't they know that? They don't know that because of your public school system. Socialism is creeping back into America because of our education system being shit. And supposedly the most free and powerful and influential and wealthy country in the world, allegedly of all time. Our education system, as it relates to empowering its sovereign individuals, even if you notice, I'm saying specific words. I'm not saying citizen, because I believe that the American concept is about sovereign individuals that are sovereign people that put representatives to speak for them, public servants, in a representative constitutional republic. That's because I understand civics. I very rarely use the word citizen. It means something else. Like denizen doesn't mean citizen. If you want to free people, you need sovereign individuals who can think, read, and understand self-governance. That's where civics comes in. Okay? Again, the reason why I can speak to this at length is because I'm a fucking nerd and we've taught civics classes for years. I live in the birthplace of America. Since I was in high school, I was fascinated with the Constitution, natural rights, human rights, natural law, commonwealth, common law. This is an excellent book here that I've been studying over the last month and a half. The Common Law by Oliver Wendell Holmes. Everybody should read it. Study it. My point in saying this is the information or being informed about civics and limits in government and the common law, natural law, human rights, that these things, these concepts brew from, and knowing the civic process, that's what gives us empowering information to when someone says we want to seize the means of production. If you have any type of so-called political education, you go, wait a minute, that sounds like communism. What the fuck are you talking about? Nobody should vote for this person. But because the education system has made you so stupid as it relates to civics, all of us, it sent us through 12 years of the bullshit. The American education system once was decentralized, localized, skill and trade based, and focused on making Americans self-reliant. That's what it used to be. Trades, local community, schools, apprenticeships. These things are meant to teach people how to do things, build things, and be free. But then when you have someone come along and say, I want to industrialize this because my goal is to make worker bees, worker bees, not free independent thinkers. We want cities and industry where people are making things. We need soldiers in the army. Generals think differently. So then there's an education system that now starts to reflect that, as opposed to, and that was then, back in the industrial age. Now we in the information age and the robotics age and the artificial intelligence age. Even that is outdated now. So back in the day, you at least could be smart enough to do your own plumbing and walk to work and work at the factory and come home. And Al Bundy could be a shoe salesman that had enough to have 2 children, a dog, a fucking wife, and nobody else worked in the household. That was the late 80s, early 90s. So even now, those ideologies are gone because the jobs are gone. The industry is gone. The same where robotics are in. So now we need you even dumber. And we actually don't even give a fuck if you make it or don't. Okay? CJ has a good statement here. And I'll maybe later on, after I give this breakdown, CJ, if you still don't understand why you need to be so-called scared of socialism, as if we don't have a lot of crony capitalism, if I explain this to you tonight, and if you still feel like you should defend socialism, and first, I want to be clear. Crony capitalism is not capitalism. It's cronyism. It's its own thing. It is not, by definition, I don't even use the word capitalism. I use free market enterprise. As I said last night in last night's show. Capitalism is some verbiage that came from the commies. Okay? I talk about free market enterprise, limited government, limited regulation. Okay? So being scared of socialism Historically, that means you don't understand what socialism had and how it's turned into communism. But I promise you, after tonight, go back to watch last night's show and tonight. And if you still feel like you want to defend socialism, maybe I'll put the call-in link and you can get on camera and defend it. But I want to make a brief statement to that. I want to be very clear. There is no time in human history which the outcome of or the end result of socialism is communism, right? There's never been a time in global history where communism has worked out, even in the most recent scenario with Russia, the United Socialist Soviet Republic, USSR. Remember in the late 80s, early 90s, when Gorbachev was like, no mas, and the wall came down, okay? Your argument or your position, and I'm going to say it as a question, right? Socialism is more in alignment with the crony capitalism, if we use that amalgamation. Socialism is more in alignment with crony capitalism than free market enterprise is, okay? And this is another reason why tonight's conversation is very, very important, because these are things that we were supposed to learn in fucking middle school and high school. Okay? This is the reason why the founders of America, with their contradictions, slavery, even though they tried to fight against it and overturn it, with their contradictions, this is the reason why they were about limited government, no taxation, not crazy overregulation. 75 years ago, you didn't need a license for most of the shit that we got licenses for now. That's government overreaching, which is not free market enterprise. And I'm not pretending like America is a totally free market enterprise system. Fuck no. It's not. I want to be very clear. And as our dollar has weakened, as we have become more and more socialist, leaning into universal basic income, we just, again, voted for, and I say we, New York City residents, elected a democratic socialist, which goes in the direction of universal basic income, goes in the direction of communism. Socialism always leads to communism. A redistribution of wealth is just slavery with an extra step, and the end result of slavery being, well, fuck it, we ain't even got to redistribute the wealth if we as the state just control the means of production. It's not me making it up. This is world, Mao, Venezuela. We could go any time period. Okay? Joe, thank you for that super chat. Appreciate you. Imagine if everybody watching gave a $2 super chat. That would help a whole lot. So, right. Big Rob says, how much of his riches is he going to give up? I want y'all to also be clear. Mamdani family come from hundreds of millions of dollars. I don't know if y'all knew that. Okay, I don't know if y'all are aware of that. Mamdani's family is loaded from free market enterprise. Okay, I don't think people get it. To Keimer Shadow's point, says, I know people celebrating this victory and plugging their ears to the facts of the consequences coming to them. You give them more credit than they're due. I am contending, as tonight's topic is about, I'm telling y'all that they don't even know what it means. There has been a systemic removal of information that would inform the general public to go, you said you're what? Fuck no. You should have been laughed out the stage. Everybody, this shit should have been a fucking balloon pop episode. If the people are supposed to be so informed that we're supposed to recognize red flags or red balloons, that if Mamdani walks up and says, I'm a democratic socialist, it should sound like 4th of fucking July. Because the general public is so informed. If somebody says Democrat, they start saying socialist. That's what the fuck is supposed to happen. But the general public doesn't know what it means. So Keimer Shadow, to your point, they're not plugging their ears. He's just saying the things based on their level of intelligence that they think is smart. Marcus, thank you for the super chat, my brother. With the $5 super stick. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you tremendously. Everybody, super chat it up. If you want to highlight a small business, please do so in the super chat. Big Rob says, people hear free and that's it. Nothing is for free. Voluntarism is, I volunteer, y'all volunteer to say, we want to support this thing that Maj got going on. But to your point, it's not free. It's voluntarism. It's philanthropy. Appreciate you, CJ, with that $2 super chat. It's philanthropy. I made $100. I want to give $5 to this person for this thing that they're doing that's going to help other people. I'm not in opposition to that. If you think if that fits if that fits someone's definition of socialism, I'm with that. I want in a free market enterprise, if you guys want to live on a commune and commune in a communist style situation in a free market enterprise, I'm not mad at you. I know that at a certain point, somebody's going to be like, why the fuck do I got to work all of the time? And he do half, a third, a quarter of the work, and he get the same amount. Something's going to happen there. Okay? I just know that. But now if the person that's generating the resources or the means of production is cool with everybody just eating off of it on that commune, absolutely. We live in America. You are free to do that. But after a while, maybe the person that's generating the means of production and the wealth starts to go, hey, I need you to do this. That's what happens. It's the golden rule. In a free market enterprise, everyone can generate resources with as limited government over-regulation or regulation or involvement as possible, so they can maximize on profits. And when people, wouldn't you know it, are maximizing on profits and not got 40%, 50% of their shit going to the state, slavery, they're more free to give that $5 out of the 100 to help people, to build roads, to build bridges. You know, like most of the roads in America were built before the fucking income tax existed. So, historically, again, education talked about those things. But then the Prussian Rockefeller model of schooling showed up, where Rockefeller and them was like, we don't want these motherfuckers thinking and being independent. That's good for freedom. That's not good for our business. So they presented the Prussian Rockefeller model of schooling: centralized, standardized curriculum, ideological capture, teachers unions, liberal fake activism, so-called liberal activism, government control. You gotta send your kids to this school in this area, or you gotta send your kids to a school unless you da-da-da-da-da. When the school becomes the state's messenger, the sovereign individuals become citizens. They go from sovereign individuals to citizens and then subjects, like in a monarchy. If you live in a big city, you 1,000%, you 1,000% are a fief or a serf. Even if you look at a big city, all the really wealthy people live in a downtown. They own those castles. The downtown Chicago area where Trump Tower is, ironically. Philadelphia, where independent such and such is. Right? When all of that shit is there, in the poorer neighborhoods, now maybe the farmers are a little bit on the outside. But if you're in this city, or you have landlords. We are looking at a modern monarch/feudal system. The taxation looks like that. Pay the homage. Even you know, the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and these things were pulled from certain sections from Old English common law, right? From the Magna Carta, from the better portions of certain governmental documents that limited government, but there was still taxation. And we fought, meaning the people in America, the founders fought against taxation with King George in them. Sidebar real quick, guys. If you want to grab the book, The Common Law by Oliver Wendell Holmes Jr., click the link in the chat. It's right here on the screen. If you're watching on YouTube, just hit that link. If you use that link right there, there's a bunch of books on our list, our book list. We get a little kickback. It helps with our work, our show, and all of those different things. All right, so that's the link right there. It's in the YouTube chat. All right, so I'm going to leave it on the screen for a quick second. Johnny Dogword says, so Rockefeller wanted to keep the subjects dumbed down, 1,000%. And I get it. It's not a knock. It's just business, right? When I want a crash dummy, when I want to crash out a YN, right? I want to crash out. I don't want him thinking. I want to say, go shoot him. If you're a soldier, and if I tell you you're doing this for your country, when in reality you're doing it to strengthen my oil profits in different regions of the world, I can't have you thinking about that happened in Vietnam. Too many soldiers saw that we're not over here fighting these people because they evil. We fighting them. We young men going to fight old men's wars. And that's why so many people is like, nah, no more war. That's why right now we're seeing a coalition of people that are informed via social media and television and access. They're going, we shouldn't be doing that. When we see the Israeli government killing so many other people, and this does not mean that there were not some people from Hamas on October the 7th a few years back that fucking did a horrific thing. We're not acting like that didn't happen too, but the punishment not fitting the crime. So when more people are going, hey, Israeli government, that's wrong. America shouldn't be involved in that. But the American government has political and financial interests along with that. So if we turn the Gaza Strip into a fucking parking lot and rebuild it with fucking hotels, condos, and beachfront shit, we have a financial interest. But if you the soldier and you thought you was fighting against terrorism or fighting against bin Laden, and then you go over there and you learn, holy shit, I was here to protect oil and poppy fields. You might not want to be a part of that no more. So we need the soldiers to be stupid. We need the worker bees to be dumb. Okay? Anybody that wants the books as well, listen to caption for those of y'all that watch this on the replay. Okay? Prest says, sorry, there's no such thing as a free market. Okay. Cool. If you think that, great. Cool. All right. I'm not here to argue with y'all. If you think that, then you're right. Cool. If anybody else wants to listen further, awesome. Okay? I'm not here to argue with you. There have been free markets and they get taken over. So if something is free market, limited government involvement, and then people start going, hey, we could control this. Especially when the general public is not informed. And over time, they start to go, maybe socialism isn't so bad. The lack of information via the school system, which is tonight's conversation, is where people start not even aware that free market enterprise has existed in world history before. And if you're not vigilant, somebody wants a little cut without doing their part to produce in a free market enterprise. So then they go, we're the government. Give us a cut. It's for your good. And then government taxation, theft, becomes more and more and more and more. Same thing with centralized money supplies. This thing prints the money up at interest to the people, and that debt is in further and further taxing of the people. This has happened. So if somebody thinks that this hasn't happened before, cool, you got it. Anyway, that Prussian Rockefeller model of schooling with centralized, standardized curriculum and ideological capturing of the minds and teachers' unions and all of that shit turns the school into the state's messenger, and you go from sovereign individuals with their land to fucking property tax and citizens and then fucking subjects. How did this happen? How does the fuck this happen? A decline in literacy, civic awareness, and foundational skills. If you don't know how to grow food, build stuff, get water, and feed yourself, of course, you're going to ask and you move to a big city, you're a peasant living in serfs with landlords. The new landlords are BlackRock, Blackstone buying up a gang of the single family homes, Berkshire Hathaway, all of that. So when you don't do anything, you don't know anything, you spend $100,000 for a degree that produces fucking nothing. You don't adapt to the times and use these tools to generate resources, inform yourself, inform others, develop skills. Right now, I'm taking a class on carpentry and fucking welding right now. Sidebar, Home Depot is giving these classes for free, guys. Just a quick aside. If you go over to Home Depot, they didn't pay me to say this shit. If you go over to Home Depot, you can sign up or just Google Home Depot giving free classes. You can get a lot of information over at homedepot.com. Okay? So, the people that okay, cool. Anybody that wants to share their perspective, a little bit later, you will be able to share your perspective and give your perspective on video. On video. We'll put the call-in number a little bit later. If anybody wants to share that perspective, you're welcome to. Okay? Now, how does this happen? Right now, half of the United States, roughly about half, of United States adults have low literacy skills. In the Solutionary 9, we read 18 pages a day. We have an individual book and we have a group book. For the rest of the year, our group book is The Law of Success by Napoleon Hill. Your other individual reading, that can be any book that's not a fucking novel. Novels is just stupid shit. Okay? Saying that to say, we read. When you guys join Solutionary University and get access to the civics class, the Know Your Rights class, all of these video modules, transformative and empowering information, all right? You're going to step your fucking game up. Everything that we recognize that America is missing is what we try to put at Solutionary University at your fingertips. Again, guys, just as another aside, it's $99. Everybody that donates towards our work, our Second Amendment work, you get access to Solutionary University. It's $99 if you just get it at Solutionary University, or you can donate the $99 and get 2 for 1, right? You help us, you help others, and you get access. Now, from now until December the 31st, it's $99. I'm telling you right now, January the 1st, the price is going up 10 times that. It's going to $999. Why? Because the value is outweighing the amount of money, and I don't want to deal with people that argue back and forth. I don't want to argue with people. I got a DM earlier today. A motherfucker was like, oh, I looked over the pricing, your payment processor, and I don't trust your payment processor, so no thanks, bro. Can you give me guarantee? Fuck out of here. He was arguing with me in the DMs, not arguing, but going back and forth over a $20 online class. Not doing it. Not doing it. Not doing it. So I'm telling you guys, we have a ton of information. I am no longer in the business of trying to fucking convince anybody. I'm telling y'all right now, join for $99, get access to all of the classes, all of the upcoming classes for $99. January the 1st, the price, meal plans, macros, shooting drills, classes, community, Zoom calls with me. The price is going up to $999. That's all. Just letting everybody know. Okay? It's the arguing season. I know what the fuck I know, and I've proven what I've already done. Arguing season with motherfuckers is done for me. You can talk about your perspective. I'll give you slight pushback on the talk show. Everything right there, in and of itself, most people come up with every reason in the world why they can't express themselves on camera. I don't give a fuck anymore. I don't. I care about the people that want to empower themselves, that want to get in shape, that want to get stronger, that want to be smarter, and want to be better shooters. That's who I want to cater to. If you grandfather yourself in now for $99, awesome. If not, we need 333 more donors to finish our fundraising for Solutionary, so that pays for the free people in person at our center. Cool. So the people that help with that at $99 or more, you get access. From now until January the 1st, it's $99. After that, it's $1,000. So I'm just going to repeat that every single night a few times. Okay? Now, my point though also there is I'm not arguing with none of you motherfuckers. None of you have done as much as I have done and have served our communities for 10 years. And if you have, that's great. I'll learn from you at some point. But it's safe to say that most of you haven't. So I'm not, especially somebody that's going back and forth with me about easily verifiable shit. Unless you're willing to get on the show and stand on what you're saying, but most people won't. But anyway, how did they do this? Literacy skills are at the point where half of United States adults have low literacy skills. 54% of adults read below a 6th grade reading level. Over half of the 300 million Americans, over half of those adults, 54% of adults, read below a 6th grade reading level. That's all. That's all. No argument. 54% of adults read at below a 6th grade reading level. So that's how one way that happens. Okay? That's one way. Second, 66% of U.S. adults can name 3% of all of the branches of government. So 30, whatever the remaining percent of those people cannot name all 3 branches of government. So, in something, that is politics. And understand that politics is how the world's resources are moved. Also, another definition for politics is the securing, maintenance, and expansion of your interests. So, the process of how that works on the federal and to a certain degree, especially also on the local and state level, system of checks and balances, city council, the president, the board of directors, the fucking cabinet, right? Congress, executive branch, legislative, judicial. Only 66% of the people can name all 3 of those branches, which means that remainder of people don't even know. 17% of Americans cannot name one of the 3. That's all. So this is how. When we go fast, rewind and say, how the fuck did Rockefeller want to dumb people down? Yeah, because I want you to come up to these big cities and I want you to get a job. And I don't want you to be a general. I want you to be a soldier. I want you to be a cog in a machine. And most of you will continue to be cogs in the machine. One of you will start thinking a little bit different and you will get a raise and you'll be a manager. There's a scene on the early seasons of The Wire, where they were talking about McDonald's. Yo, the motherfucker that learned how to make a chicken McNugget, he probably super paid. And somebody was like, you think that Ronald McDonald came down in the basement wherever he thinking shit up and gave him money? No, that motherfucker's still down there trying to figure out how the fries taste better. They will give you a trinket. They will give you a plaque when you work for them for 40 years, but they don't give you equity in the fucking company. So Rockefeller no, we're not here to do that. We need to make sure that the overall general public is super right and exact where we need them to be. So take civics, turn it into social studies, and this is over time. The literacy rates go down. The understanding of civics go down. The ability of people now to actually even say what the 3 major branches of government are down. So if large numbers can't read at a basic level, can't understand government structure, what kind of free sovereign individual are they? At what level can they participate in? They can get a fucking job. They could work. Then in the industrial age, it even used to be, at least if I work for 40 years, I get to retire. I get social security benefits. They telling y'all in every single way possible. Social Security, they've been dipping into that shit like a checking account for however long. So because government doesn't produce anything other than debt and taking your money and getting it at an interest rate from the Federal Reserve Bank, the private bank, they don't have an understanding of fiscal responsibility because they never built the business. That's not what government does. So they just burn through the money, including your Social Security shit. It's not there. So even that process of I'm going to get a job in an industry, in Philadelphia was textile was big in Philly, right? Boeing jet manufacturer used to have a manufacturing company up on Roosevelt Boulevard in the northeastern Philly. Philly had all types of textile manufacturing, all these big factories, South Philly, North Philly, right at Broad and Lehigh where I was raised. There was a whole building still there. It's empty. Because then Ronald Reagan, conservative, opened up and said, started over-regulating, and those companies said, we're taking them jobs over to Mexico or China. Okay? That happened. And they left all of that acreage in the South because they wanted those jobs in the industry. And again, I'm jumping over the timeline a bit, but even in the 30s, 40s, 10s, 20s, you could at least get that good work, and that process worked a little bit. New York City was the American dream. I'm going to get this job. I'm going to be at the factory. I could walk to the factory. Hard-working men. Wives could stay at home. We could raise a family. We had a neighborhood. We had a community. 1,000%. Then I could get my family from Italy, China, Spain, Africa, Poland, Ireland, popping for New York. Then they got into the labor union. The Italians went that way. The Irish went law enforcement. It's beautiful for a while. It's beautiful for a while. But that was 100 fucking years ago. And then technology improves on one level, but every technology created is a job removed. Okay? You're not going to be fucking, what? Burger King? I'm buying robots now that's going to flip burgers at certain spots. That's where my mind going. Oh, you asked for $20 an hour? Okay, cool. I knew the game was up when the motherfucker started doing the push button menus, one or two of them in a spot. The game was up when you had automated checkout at Walmart. The game is the fuck up. We're going to robotic your ass. We could have 5 people run this whole motherfucking shop. But you weren't informed about that. You didn't understand about civics. Your education system was low. You didn't develop any skills. You know who gonna get paid though? Welders, carpenters, construction workers, plumbers, electricians. Because it's not the same level of fucking involvement that a robot can do the same way. And even outside of that, you know how much motherfucking power is gonna be needed to run all of these AI and data centers? But I know y'all don't want to tap into Solutionary University, so you missed all of this shit. Because the information, they told you outdated formulas by design. I want to be very clear to y'all. They are not teaching sovereign individuals to be sovereign. They are teaching you to be denizens and slaves. They want you to be fucking consumers and that's it. Or take a universal basic income. Because we got all these machines doing other shit. You sit your ass right there, slave. The education system is a capture point. And when you look at the word education, y'all got to look into the etymology of shit. It's not information system. It's not designed to get you information. It's not designed to get you cracking exact and right and on point and get ready to execute. It's an education system. They edit the dictation that they give you. We're going to edit what we tell them. I'm not surprised. I read. The system is not about empowering individuals. It's about embedding dependency, ideology, and compliance. Okay? That's what it is. It's not designed to empower you. Sorry, guys. And at a certain point, it even empowers you better than it does now. If you think that getting a job, working for the United States Postal Service for 40 years, which our dads and granddads and grandmoms did, whatever, that model is dead fucking now. The United States Postal Service loses $1 billion annually. Loses and losses. But they just print up more money to give people jobs, which impacts your fucking dollar. So that money that you saved under your fucking mattress, you're not even outpacing the inflation rates. We got a Bitcoin class coming, just so y'all know. I'm going to keep reminding y'all to tap in, donate the $99, get access to Solutionary University between now and January the 1st, because it's going up to $1,000. Illiterate people are more easily influenced, less ability to question, less ability to act independently. They want you illiterate and just enough to be consumers, to buy, and to go to work in the spots that they got for you, or UBI you. You teach people trades, skills, reading and civics, the shit we got at Solutionary University, video modules that you can watch, right? You teach people shit like that, you build independent thinkers, critical thinkers, free thinkers. Notice none of your conservatives say that no more. You teach this fake-ass activism shit, you're going to get compliant ideologues. And that's what you're getting. Compliant ideologues that's going to agree with what Mamdani says, because they're not paying attention that he literally just said, oh, yeah, I'm a democratic socialist. None of that. I don't want you paying attention to this. But let's look at this real quick. The big story of the 2025 New York mayoral election is age polarization. 81% of women under 30 voted for Mamdani. Just 32 to 33% over 65 years old did. Okay? Let's just look. Okay? The stupid people did. 81% is overwhelming. And he took advantage of their ignorance, and he took advantage of how he spoke to liberal causes. He did a chef's kiss of amazing motherfucking, I'm going to say what this constituent base needs. He put the people together, said he created a clear enemy. He didn't fight too hard against whatever. And your conservative pundits helped him, because none of your conservative pundits actually highlighted the Republican. My fucking God. The Republican candidate that was running. That was the founder of the Guardian Angels. That was a beautiful story. Who did Trump endorse? Cuomo. Who did Elon endorse? Cuomo. Elon actually said, don't vote for Silva, or whatever his name is, the Republican candidate. So this whole, like, we don't want infighting in the party, that's bullshit. Trump endorsed Cuomo, not the Republican candidate. But I'm supposed to just act like it's supposed. Come on, bro. How many people even knew that Curtis was even running, the Republican candidate? The people that are smarter knew not to fuck with this dude, meaning Mamdani. The stupid motherfuckers, 81% of women under the age of 30. Stupid motherfuckers that don't because the school system took this civics that we talking about. First, it was called civics. Then they called it social studies. Then they removed it. Okay? Stupid. It's stupid. They don't know. A lot of Republicans wanted Sleewater to drop out. Guys, Mamdani could not have gotten here if the general public was so not fucking stupid. But you're stupid by design as it relates to politics, as it relates to civics. This is a captive education system. It's paving the way for a collectivist, centralized, universal basic income, centralized control rather than local individual autonomy. That is literally what's happening. It's not like a oops. It's by design. Accelerationists destroy the US dollar. The people that's opposing the destruction of the dollar and trying to strengthen the dollar, like Thomas Massey is saying, hey, this is stupid. Why are we still spending at Biden levels, more than Biden levels? Oh, he's the villain. Huh? How's he the fucking villain? How is he the fucking villain? Please tell me how he's the motherfucking villain. The genius. Literally, Thomas Massey is an MIT graduate with multiple degrees in engineering, not degrees in fucking liberal arts and postmodern cheese sculptures. He's an engineer that's held local office in his town in Kentucky, that built damn near the thing that powers his whole fucking house, that's a farmer and a rancher, that made a goddamn clock that tracks the debt, which has went over $38 trillion, saying, hey, we're spending ourselves into oblivion. He's the fucking villain? Why? Because the general public wants you to be stupid and not think nuanced. Universal daycare, universal pre-K, extended schooling. These are the trends and the risks. Democrats, like this dude, is pushing major federal proposals for universal preschool and expanded child care for 3 and 4 year olds. More time under centralized institutions. From a younger age. Let's get them stupider faster. It's not enough to just do it at like elementary and middle. Let's get them dumb from the gate. And let's get stupid parents to be like, we'll give you more money to pay for your child care. It always looks like it's the hookup. The devil can't make hell look good. The devil makes the road to hell look good, dummy. But if you're uninformed and you go, oh, the government's looking out for me. No, they're not. The government got that money on a loan from the centralized private banking cartel that loans that money back to the United States on interest. They are the fucking Iron Bank from Game of Thrones. This is not complicated. It's not complicated for me because I know the fucking whole situation, video modules to connect the dots. So over time, you go, oh, of course a politician would want his constituents to make it a little easier on you. So they don't tell you to put the fucking family together. They don't tell you what, hey, we're going to help you with coming up with a financial plan. We're going to help you. We're going to get rid of overreaching licensing and fees so you can be a fucking barber or a hairstylist on the side without us taxing you or arresting you for doing so. We're not going to tell you to limit regulation by government. We're going to say we're going to give you money for free. There's no such thing in that regard. There is a cost. Somebody's labor is involved. The labor is the machines that are printing up the money at interest rates. The labor is your children's future labor. But you don't connect them dots because you're not in fucking Solutionary University. The 30-some-odd and younger people that voted for Mamdani, I'll go out on a limb, and I'm very careful when I speak in extremes. I'll go out on a limb here. I bet money, dollars to donuts, that most of those 30-year-old women or people did not take a fucking civics class, and they have no idea what the Fed does. They think that the Federal Reserve Bank is a part of the federal government. They think that. So it's not that the people really want socialism, want the road to communism. They don't know what the fuck they're getting. Because we, on the right, our pundits are talking about the culture war, not informing people. So when I say, yo, what does this pundit you talk? What the fuck does Matt Walsh? Does anybody know any job that Matt Walsh has ever had? No, you don't. Other than talking in front of fucking microphones. What service? What education? What limited government information? What unifying and empowering of Americans do these people do? They don't. Because the pundits are in it for self. These pundits did not talk about the Republican candidate that's running against the Democratic Socialists. So they push these federal proposals, and the uninformed masses, the sheep, go, this sounds like it makes sense. And I get it. It does sound like it makes sense. And they get more dumber babies at a younger age. They make your babies dumber and dumber. And then the civics gets de-emphasized even at another level. And before you know it, we in the fucking Hunger Games. We in the fucking Hunger Games, bro. What can we do, guys? What can we do? We can shift back to decentralization. Skills and trade-based independent citizen or sovereign individual aid education. Localize. Parents, community leaders, get involved. Know what's being taught or pull them out of the schools. Insist on reading, trade skills, civics, literacy. This is not, come on. Homeschool, supplement the education. Okay? These are solutions. This is, again, why we have all of the stuff that I'm talking about. Why I keep saying it, and I'm going to keep repeating it every night, is we have all of these video modules available to you all for every member of Solutionary University. Help us. Donate at givesendgo.com/solutionary. We need 333 more $100 donors. Those 333 people will get grandfathered in. You'll get access to all of these video modules that I want you to share with your goddamn family. Y'all know how y'all cheat with the Netflix password and you give it to all of your friends and family? Do the same thing with your access to Solutionary University. Make them watch it. Make them get the videos. Make them go through the tests. Okay? These are solutions We can't just keep talking about how Mamdani is a democratic socialist. What's your solution to that? You got to inform the people. Mamdani does not get in office if the people of New York are informed about a basic concept of what the fuck communism is and what gets you there. Democratic socialism, or whatever sprinkle you want to put on top of the shit. You trying to salt bay the sugar on top of the shit. Call it democratic socialism. It's socialism, and it always leads to communism. Historically, it does. We're not talking about it's wrong to practice cooperative economics. That's not what we mean. Socialism is a political system that redistributes the wealth. There are wealth transfers in socialism. When there's more wealth transfers, not by the owner or producer, but by government entities, that is the stepping stone to, all right, fuck it, we just gonna seize the means of production by the state, which is communism. I'm not gonna tell y'all to be a part of some shit or bring something to your table on the show that I'm not presenting a solution for you, which is why I'm saying everybody tap in. Because in January, it's gonna be some of y'all that's gonna be like, damn, Maj, I was watching the show, I was supposed to, I was da-da-da-da, and you're gonna pay $1,000 for this shit. We don't have the time to be fucking around. In the year 2024, the United States dollar lost 10% of its value in 1 year. It took us damn near 150 years to break $35 trillion in debt since the Federal Reserve was created in 1913. It took us damn near 100 and some odd years to get over $35 trillion in debt, the national debt. We went from 37 to 38 trillion, which is 1 trillion, and a year and some change. This is a speeding train that is running the fuck away. And if you don't have skills, land, the ability to defend your weird space, history, the writing is on the wall. It's shown us what happens. It just happened in oil-rich ass Venezuela. Oh, but they told you that, oh, we're going to go fuck with Venezuela and go to war with them because they getting fentanyl into America. They told you that shit. Pete Hegseth got on television and told y'all that stupid shit and y'all believed it. Because you don't know that Venezuela is an oil-rich nation that was a socialist economy that now they was fighting in the streets for fucking bread. But they still an oil-rich nation. So you don't know that. They told you they was the fentanyl. Anybody that's ever sold or been around people that's ever sold any drug knows that the Fetty Wap does not fucking come from fucking Venezuela. Stop. But you're dumb because your system made you dumb. Fentanyl is 1,000% majority in America comes from fucking China. Stop. Full fucking stop. Full fucking stop. That shit do not come from fucking Venezuela. Anybody to tell you that shit come from Venezuela, run the fucking other way. They trying to tell you that to justify it's the same motherfuckers that tell you they got weapons of mass destruction. Months ago, when we was like, yo, why is Trump trying to get us to go to war in Iran? And they bombed Iran. It was like, we can't let them get nukes. It's the same story. But you don't pay attention to history. That's why we got a civics and liberty class that goes over American history. That's why I keep telling y'all. The people are stupid and Mamdani can't get into the position if the people are smart. When you see socialism winning, you should ask yourself, what kind of voters made this possible? What schools, what upbringing, what education, and what culture preceded it? We're on the tail end of the dumbing down of America for some time now. And if education doesn't build civic literacy and independent skills, the political outcomes shift accordingly. You get a Mamdani. Voters that are low information voters, while your pundits are talking about these blacks, you making the black people the enemy, not looking at the fucking. Meanwhile, Mamdani, the Indian, these same conservatives are saying it's the black people, the American blacks that have been here for fucking ever. These same folks is like, give us more Indians. H-1B1, whatever them shits is called, visas. What? Y'all not paying attention out here. Voters that are less anchored in civic understanding are going to gravitate towards this bullshit ideology rather than constitutional principles. Because you don't know what the fucking Constitution is and how the Bill of Rights is supposed to limit the government. But they ain't tell you that in school. The fight for freedom is anchored in education and information. If we lose that shit, we lose everywhere. It's like the Second Amendment. We lose the Second Amendment, everything else. Because you can't shoot motherfuckers. You violated me, I get to shoot them. That's it. Guys, we are dealing with a literal literacy crisis, especially in civics and literacy. We got to reclaim the education so it strengthens freedom, not weaken it. We can complain about Biden, Trump, Kamala Harris, Obama, George Bush Jr., George Bush Sr., Dick Cheney dying, or we can counter it. I want to counter it. Y'all never been in a fucking, we in a fight. Somebody get a good jab off, knock you on your shit. You're okay, great. You know how to take a punch. Cool. Counter. Stop waiting on these failed institutions to save the country. Join the Solutionary 9. You guys are the force multipliers. You got to learn the civics. You got to learn the discipline. You got to be healthy. You got to have the skills. You got to have the trades. You got to have the things that the system does not want you to have. I'm sorry, guys. America as an ideal, love it. How many of us are executing it and literally fucking like doing it? Because we didn't learn it. They don't want you to know it because if you know it, we can't rape you financially and taxation-wise the same way. You start getting involved in local politics. You start budgeting. You start eating healthy. You start working out. You start saving some shit. They want you weak, poor, dependent, and fucking like depressed. We literally have an entire blueprint that you take at your own leisure. They are videos that I'm literally saying, yo, when y'all get them, Jones, share it with your family. And I've been telling y'all, I haven't steered y'all wrong in damn near 10 years. I'm telling you all, this is a fucking problem. We got to get informed. We got to get information. And we have to get information. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary is where you can do that. If you want 2 birds with 1 stone, donate $99 or more. Donate whatever you want. Okay? But if you want to do it that way, it helps us train more people in person. Right? And you get the same thing. If you ain't into that, you don't want to help nobody, cool. Just go to solutionaryuniversity.org. Sign up for fucking Solutionary 9. Just sign up. But I'm telling you the best way to do this, donate at Gifts and Go. We need 333 more $100 donors. Be one of those donors and still get the same thing. Inform yourself. Empower yourself. You got to be willing to do the fucking... We talk about our patriots, our ancestors, and I don't give a fuck what your race is. I don't give a fuck. There's black ancestors, white ancestors, Asian ancestors, Indian ancestors, Italian, Polish, all of the fucking everything. The people that built this fucking nation, your ancestors had to put in fucking ugly work. We ain't even got to go that far back. Let's just go back to our grandparents' age and what they had to sit through. If you're somebody that's like a 2nd or 3rd generation person here, or your grandfather, you know what I mean? And tapped in and did the work, and I don't care what you American. And you could be Italian American, African American, Irish American, Chinese. You're that 1 or 2 generations back. They fought hard as fuck, man. They did ugly work. We gotta do the ugly work in the form of getting informed, helping people that's trying to inform other people. That's how we create the force multipliers to get the America that we fucking need to earn and get. We got to do that, man. And that's why we put it all in one simple fucking website. and I want you all to go to it and support it. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary. We got about 200 of y'all watching tonight. I appreciate all of y'all for tapping in every single night, man. I think that's a good spot to wrap up. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary. Let's get 20 people to commit to being donors at the $100 level tonight, or just get whatever you can. If you're like, I don't want the class, I don't want to learn shit, Maj, right? If you don't want to, cool. Just donate 5, 10, 20, 50, whatever at the $100 level to hit our goal. And everybody, how it works is I'll have your email. Let me check the emails right now. Oh shit, who's this? Wow, that's crazy. Somebody downloaded a weird. Yeah. Anyway, I'll have your email. You'll get one of these. I'll get one of these emails to my phone, right? And I'll send you access to Solutionary University. Everybody that's a donor at the $100 level, at 1,000% helps out, and we have to inform people. We can't wait for the top 1%. We can't wait for the bottom 99%. We, as these solutionaries, have to do it and create force multipliers. We got to create the people and environment that we respect, care for, and admire. And as those force multipliers, that's the way that we do that. That is the limited government, liberty-minded, solutionary way. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary. Thank you all for tapping in. Share the space all over the place. I'm going to engage you all in the DMs, that if you do decide to DM me, let's chop it up there, but support the work. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary. I see you all tomorrow, same time, same channel, youtube.com/solutionary.